What's up, everyone? Actually, I went back to Shake Shack. I couldn't stop thinking about the chicken stack, and yeah, I got it again. And I also wanted to try something a little different, so I wanted to try. Believe they call this the Shack dog. So yeah, when I got it, it was like I was surprised, man. They put a filthy fat pickle in the hot dog. Let's see how it tastes. Let's go. Let's go. They put some peppers in here too. It looks good. Okay. Oh man, my new favorite podcast these days. I just recently kind of found about it. It's the HD podcast. But for this podcast, they do talk about various topics. Sometimes they're very informing, and they also have some, nice special guests on. But most of the time, the host, I believe Ilya is his wife's name, Ethan's wife's name. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Then yeah, Ethan, and then we have some Zach, Dan, and Ian also working on the podcast as well with Ethan. And for this podcast, usually I'm just in for the last. Ethan's just like a funny dude. The content that they provide on the contest on their on the platform most of the time is just dicking around and just joking around, right? And I think recently I watched, there's like a podcast where he rates fast foods in different tiers from S tier to F tier, I believe. Yeah. Then I also recently watched, there's a podcast that ate the Arby's. Kind of did like a little mukbang on the podcast. And yeah, Arby's, I can't recall the last time I ate it. They pretty much just shat on Arby's. The food isn't that great. It's not, I wouldn't go out of my way to get it. Actually, I don't know if there's any in San Francisco anymore, but yeah, there's barely any Arby's around, so. Oh, let's get this chicken sandwich. Well seasoned chicken sandwich, very crunchy. The chicken breast, I love it. And then if you've been watching the HD podcast for quite some time, they also had Papa John's, the man himself, on their podcast. And yeah, as you know, if you watch HD podcast, Ethan's a big fan of Papa John's. Actually, not like before. I wasn't like super big fan of pizza, but actually now that I'm eating it a little bit more often, yeah, I mean, after having Tona's pizza, which is just next level. The pizza's so good. It made me a lover of pizza again. But me myself, I don't really eat fast food pizzas, Domino's and Round Table, Papa John's. I'm not sure if I even had Papa John's in my whole life. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I wouldn't really go around my area or in San Francisco. There's tons of pizza joints, right? In every city, there's your local pizzerias, which I probably would find better than actually. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. I had a coughing attack. So, I have those symptoms of whatever I have from my cold. But yeah, like I was saying, since in many cities, especially big cities like San Francisco, there's tons of restaurants and especially tons of local pizzerias. I would rather go to a local pizzeria where I feel that they would make pizzas better compared to like those pizza chains, right? And interesting enough, I think Ethan he ranked Shake Shack as S tier, which I think I would put it S tier for fast food. I forgot there's so many fast food restaurants on that list, but I'm just gonna name the ones that I kind of remember. And then, but he actually put McDonald's and let's see, In-N-Out in A tier, which I really like In-N-Out tier. I think maybe I would bump In-N-Out in the S tier. Oh my god, so keep on coughing. Oh my goodness, can't. Man, I had this cough for like a week now at least. Now it's carried on to the next week. I hope I don't have like bronchitis or anything. But we'll see. And then and then he put Ethan, like I was saying before, Ethan put McDonald's in A tier. I maybe will bump down McDonald's to B tier. It is a classic that everyone can easily access. And no matter what McDonald's you go to, the consistency is always there. But then he said Shake Shack crinkle cut fries are the best, but I mean they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not like crazy, anything. But yeah, and compared to In-N-Out fries, sometimes I can find the fries at In-N-Out kind of soggy, to be honest. So in this video, I'm not going to be really talking too much, so it's kind of hard for me to talk. And then, as you saw earlier, I kind of, coughed a bit, so bear with me. So my thoughts on the Shack dog. It wasn't like a crazy hot dog or anything. It was decent. It had some like peppers, had a nice kick. Oh man, I don't know, since I'm still kind of sick, I shouldn't have eaten anything spicy, but anyways, it wasn't too crazy. I felt like they overkilled it on the mustard. They put a little too much mustard for my liking, at least. And then the pickle, it was a nice addition, just like you would put in a sandwich or in a burger, right? But, kind of kept on slipping out of the hot dog, so I was like, oh, just let me put it to the side, just eat it by itself. And then, speaking of HD podcasts, I remember a long time ago, I think I watched a couple of the podcasts, but then later on, kind of forgot about them, right? And I was actually watching David So's podcast, and he actually mentioned HD podcast, and then there was like a little fiasco with the HD podcast where Ethan said he wasn't a fan of K-pop, and he made some jokes about them. Right? So I'm not going to go into further detail, but yeah, he made some some harsh comments, but in the end he's pretty much like he just isn't a fan of K-pop. And then on Twitter and all social media, all hell broke loose, right? Everyone was after his head, calling him racist old white man, calling him all sorts of stuff, right? But in the first place, he never said anything about, being homophobic or anything like that. And actually, I watched his. I think I got back into his podcast when I saw on social media, and then he clapped back and he made a podcast in response, based on K-pop itself. And then in this podcast, it was dude, Ethan is he's a champ, dude. He's so funny. He and Ilya, I think everyone else are wearing like BTS merch, like they have BTS shirts, BTS posters in the background. And he was just like, yeah, he was talking mad shit, and and then like it doesn't really phase him, right? It's not, as he mentioned. He actually mentioned in this podcast, right? And I've been watching more of his podcasts. He doesn't just shit on K-pop only, right? He shits on other people as well, so it's not indiscriminate, right? But I do like K-pop, some songs, and Korean hip hop myself, but and it's just like it's funny about his perspective, right? He mentioned that they look BTS look super, all of them were pretty good looking, and that he would have sex with them, right? It was pretty funny, but yeah, he's a good chump about it. He just life moves on, and that's how it is. And after that K-pop podcast of his, I grew to love his podcast more. I know a lot of people maybe it's not for everyone, his podcast. Sometimes he takes things a little too far, but it's entertaining to watch nonetheless. Sorry about this today's mukbang. I kind of coughed a lot. Didn't really talk too much, but yeah. Thank you for watching. Peace.